Hello and welcome along to Clare FM's Sideline View Review. Derek Lynch with you for the next hour. Coming up on the show, we reflect on Clare's wins in the ladies football and camogie All-Ireland Championships this weekend, while we also look back on Avon United's dramatic victory in the Ennis Carpets Clare Cup final. We'll speak to the Clareman who has been centrally involved in works on the BC Stadium in Vancouver as well, ahead of the start of this week's World Cup in the US, Canada and Mexico. A little bit closer to home though is where we'll start, and it's with ladies football, where Clare secured a home quarter final in the All-Ireland Intermediate Championship after a 111 to 110 win over Laois in O'Moore Park. A late penalty coloured the scoreline for the home side in Portlaoise, with Lauren Conway's goal in the 45th minute having sent the banner 3 clear at that stage. Clare now have 3 weeks off before that last day tie, with Laois and Wexford facing off next week to see who'll take second spot in the group. After the game, I spoke with Clare captain Joanna Doohan, but first let's hear from coach Niall Hickey.
We're very happy, Derek. I suppose we kind of went out in the first half to kind of try and keep it tight, kind of play with a +1 into the win. We knew the win was going to be a massive factor today from the get-go. Look, teams say win never win, you're nothing, but look, it was always going to be a factor there today, and I think the real performance was in the first half. Overall, in the second half, wouldn't have been happy with our second half performance overall, but look, I suppose we were 4 or 5 points up there near the end. They got the penalty, and I suppose, look, thankfully for me, the linesman came to me at the end and said it was the last kick of the game, so I suppose, look, it was a bit of a relief, but look, we knew we were coming up to today. Look through their team during the week. They had 9 girls that played in our Ireland final last year. I know they had a poor league, but look, they beat Louth at the end of the league. We knew coming away from home it's always going to be tough, and we're just delighted to get the win.
I suppose Lauren's goal maybe settled nerves a little bit at a crucial time. It was midway through the second half there and things were level.
Yeah, look, I suppose we tried to push up in the kick out a little bit in the second half, and I thought we were probably a little bit conservative in that we still kind of held a +1 with it. We probably should have gone after a little bit more. They got 3 or 4 kick-outs away very, very easily, but I suppose, look, the 2 that we won back, we punished them, we got 1-1 out of it, and look, we're just delighted. In fairness to Lauren, even from last week, she knows where the goals are when she gets the chance.
And I suppose their scoring threat in the first half was probably primarily through their full forward. They got the 2 orange flags. Were you confident at half time with the point up and the breeze to come that you could hold them defensively? Yeah,
look, as I said, even if we got in level before the game or before the game started, I thought it would have been a 7 or 8 point win. We were very happy at half time. As I said to the girls at half time, there wasn't a whole lot we could do. I said there were David Clifford points, really from, at this level, like she kicked them from 40-45 yards, a beautiful left foot. We know what Emily can do. She scored 1-3 against us in the league, and she was the one that we tried to knuckle down. But as I said to the girls, there wasn't a whole lot they could do about them. We tried to press out in the 45, and if they were good enough to score from there, we said well and good, and she was. But look, I said we got in, and it was a really, really good first half. It was a 9 out of 10. Second half, I suppose, look, when you're playing with the wind, you can become a little bit complacent, try and force maybe passes inside that weren't on and things like that. But look, thankfully, we got a couple of scores there near the end. We held the ball, we picked the gaps and got them at crucial times. And look, I suppose they got a penalty at the end to probably make the scoreline look a little bit more respectable, but look, 1 point is as good as 10 to us now.
Yeah, and the draw would have done the same job to get that home quarter final, so it's been a very, very positive 7 days.
Yeah, look, massive for us, as I said, going into the championship. A lot of teams probably wouldn't have given us a chance, and to come out with the 2 wins, as I said, be it 1 point or 10 points, we're absolutely delighted. I said it was in our own hands today. I said it to the girls at half time. We've 30 minutes from an All-Ireland quarter final, or we could be 30 minutes from a relegation semi-final. We don't know what the other game could have been, what way it could have gone next week. So look, we're just absolutely delighted to get a home quarter final, and now we're looking forward to playing a team that came second in the other group. And look, we'll get a couple of girls back. We had a couple of injuries today, a couple of girls away, so hopefully we'll have a full squad. We had 2 or 3 real injuries there before the game, Ellie Hanner and Amy Sexton, and they went out and probably there were 6 out of 10, and look, they gave it everything for the cause, and we're just delighted.
And those couple of weeks off, that's probably as important as anything else, is it?
Yeah, look, as I said, I was saying at the Derek there last week, I said this is our 7th game in 8 weeks. So at this level, it's going to take our toll, and you've seen it in our squad. We've 27 or 28 girls. We've 4 or 5 girls doing the leaving cert. We've probably 22 or 3 girls tagged out there today, carrying 2 or 3 injuries, and girls, playing that are probably not 100%. And then other girls that are coming on that didn't play last week, and girls that played last week, like some Megan Downs, pulled up with a hamstring as well. So look, we've had a lot of things to face, but look, as I said, we've dug really, really deep, and I'm really, really proud of the girls that deserve every bit of it.
Joanne, a job done here in Portlaoise into your home quarter final. Can you sum that up for us?
Yeah, it's just what we came here to do today, so we've that done, and we can look forward to the park now, hopefully in 3 weeks' time.
Is there a sense of pressure off a little bit now that you're in control of your own destiny for the next 3 weeks?
Yeah, like we've a good stint of training to be done now. We don't have to be worrying about going away, and so it's a bit more of an advantage to play at home, of course, and top our group. So we can put the head down now and train hard for the next few weeks.
We were just chatting there to the lads. It's been quite a hectic schedule over the last 8 weeks. I think someone said 7 games or thereabouts in that period. 3 weeks of downtime now. I know you'll be training, obviously, but is that a little bit of pressure off?
Yeah, definitely. Even I think today you could probably see a bit of fatigue in us. Like I know for the Munster B, we nearly had 2 games in a week as well. So like girls are they're getting fatigued and stuff like that. So I'm just so glad that we got the job done today, and we can probably take a bit of a rest for a bit of this week and then start training hard again.
Because it took a massive effort into that breeze in the first half to win a point up, and maybe in the third quarter it was perhaps Laois that were maybe playing more of the football, was it?
Yeah, definitely. I think the lads even told us at half time, like, a wind will win you nothing, like, and we were lucky to just keep our cool and hold on to it, and just we came alive again in the last quarter, I think. But I'm happy that we did still keep the composure in the third quarter, even if Laois had a bit more of the control at that time. I think we actually had a very good first half, even though it was against the wind. We kind of liked making things hard for us at times, you know. But no, we're delighted.
But defensively, like, Rebecca wasn't tested there until the penalty, which, okay, questionable enough, but it turned out to be the last kick of the game. So you held things very solid down the centre.
Yeah, I think we're really getting into our groove of, say, releasing your midfield player and letting your centre back kind of, or myself, I suppose, into that pocket. So to make sure that we don't leave the centre open, because I think we got caught for that a bit in the league, and we kind of started improving it during the Munster B, so we've started to get our flow in that, I think, as well, so we held them out. And
confidence-wise, back-to-back victories now, that's great momentum to carry forward.
Yeah, definitely. As the lads say always, like, winning builds momentum and momentum builds winning, so we'll try to keep that positive mindset into our training camp now. So.
And as you say, like a home quarter-final, it's an All-Ireland, hopefully into a semi-final, but big home support now. Nobody has to hit the road, only as far as Ennis, from what we're hearing, so that would be huge, wouldn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And even like seeing the younger girls there, I think the under 16s were there at half time for us when we were playing Wexford, so like that's always great to see, and you get more girls coming, they get to see the Clare ladies playing, and they get to see what they could be in a few years, so it's brilliant.
And hopefully getting a couple of players back from that. I know there was a few unavailable today, but that time I suppose the physios now will be busy getting everyone back and making sure there's real depth there for that game.
Yeah, look, exactly. I think the fatigue and stuff from all those games in the consecutive weeks, like, it has taken a little bit of a toll. But again, like, we've a great backroom team with us. The physios and everything are great, so we'll be hoping to get everyone back for fighting form 3 weeks' time.
Now that is the view from the Clare camp after yesterday's game in Portlaoise. Delighted to have Anne-Marie Cannon with us to look back on that, reflect I suppose on the 2 games to date, and look at what might be coming forward down the line, Anne-Marie. But the most immediate thing, I suppose, 2 wins from 2 in the championship for Clare. It'll do momentum, it'll do confidence the world of good.
Yeah, exactly. 2 good wins, and I suppose coming off the back of a Munster senior B final against Cork, and I thought Clare played excellent last week against Wexford. They were moving the ball really well, and they continued that yesterday with a great win against a tough Laois side. And I suppose they have to commend Clare's work rate throughout. It was a very fast-paced game, but I thought that their work rate throughout the field was excellent.
And it needed to, because conditions were very difficult, and I suppose playing into that breeze in the first half to go in ahead, they would have been absolutely thrilled with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Like as I said, they moved the ball very well, and they weren't kicking the ball away against the wind. They were minding it, and I thought that Clare used the zonal defence very well, because we know like the fast forwards that Laois have. I suppose we saw an example of it in the first half with Emily Lacey scoring her 2 points, 2 2-pointers, and I suppose Mary O'Hara in the corner and Mia Brangan in the other corner. The Clare knew that, and I suppose the Clare half forwards, Amy Sexton and Ellie Hanrahan, worked very, very hard. They were back helping their backs, as was Teresa Collins and Anya Slattery, and I think that really put pressure on the Laois forwards, and I suppose it stopped a lot of scores, and there was quite a few turnovers as well, so that was really, really positive to see.
And I suppose just a word on the performance of Ellie Hanrahan, to be fair, 5 points from play, very unlucky. One of those wasn't a goal, just a slight turn one way or the other would have opened it up for her. Fantastic to get that many scores.
Yeah, look, she's a young player, but she's a real leader on the field, and every ball went through her yesterday. She was involved in so many plays. She was out in front all the time, exactly what you need as a centre forward, winning ball, passing it off, going again, and as you said, getting on the scoreboard. I suppose it left Lauren Conway and Fidelma Marnan inside in the full forward line. Leah Kelly kind of pushed out, and she worked very, very hard in the wing, and she was winning ball back in the midfield area as well. And as I said, having Fidelma and Lauren isolated in the side, Chloe Maloney was able to push out then and win ball and kick it in, and it just worked really well. And Ellie was off the shoulder all the time looking for ball and getting on the scoreboard.
And it's a testament as well maybe to the turnover of players in the squad. I think I heard Niall Hickey saying it to Derek Dormer after the last game. I think it's in the high 20s as to the amount of players that might have been turned around in the last couple of years. And then you see the likes of Slattery there at midfield from Fergus Rovers, Abby Kelly stepping up from that minor group of recent years. There has been a real generation of this team, a real regeneration I should say.
Yeah, there have, and I suppose that's on the back of the minor wins and under 16 and the work that's been done in clubs, and they're now feeding into the intermediate team, which is brilliant. I know there's two, Aisling Kelly and Sophie Collett, and they're due leaving cert. They'll be back as well, for the next day hopefully. And as I said, on the back of the minor last year, Abby Kelly has made her place there at wing back. She was excellent yesterday. Aisling Crowe came on, she was captain last year of the minor team. There's a few Ava O'Driscoll, there's a few very, very young girls there that are ready to make an impact. I know Megan Downs was injured yesterday. Fidelma was on instead of her. Hopefully Megan will be available again the next day. But even Sophie Torpy coming in there at the end, she's getting game time, and that's what you need. Shauna Meelican was in instead of Lucy Power. Again, girls are getting game time. They got plenty of game time in the league, and that's what it's all about.
And maybe it gets lost in the analysis a little bit, but you mentioned the Munster Senior B there a while ago. Now, I suppose, with hindsight, you can look at it as a brilliant bridging competition to maybe get rid of whatever hangover was there from the league, get those wins up, refocus, and then look ahead to championship with a bit of silverware as well. It was a very, very important period, that particular competition for Clare.
Yeah, I think it was a brilliant competition. Girls are getting game time, they're playing at a high level. That's what it's all about, because there's a gap there between the league and the championship. And I know you can do all the training in the world, but it's playing matches, and especially with these new rules, getting more practice at them. We saw yesterday Clare exploited the new rules. There was 2 breaches on Laois part, and got 2 score from it. And those things, when it comes to championship, if they're worked on in the league and the senior B competition, they're crucial.
Going forward, Clare have a 3-week break now before a home quarter-final here. We understand they're looking for Zimmer Biomed Park Isog to play it in, which would be another brilliant occasion. So that bit of downtime may be as important as anything else now. I don't think they're going to be doing a whole pile this week. I heard rumours of a barbecue that was floating around in Obama Plaza on the way home. A bit of bonding and a bit of relaxation, because it's been a very, very tough schedule.
Yeah, look, they've worked so hard. They've been training for months, and this downtime would be good before they go again. And I suppose it's absolutely brilliant to have a home venue for the quarterfinal, and hopefully everyone can get out and support them. Really good for confidence. And I suppose just looking at the other groups and how they have gone. In Group 1, you have Cavan, Roscommon and Down. Cavan are Ulster champions. With 2 weeks they beat Monaghan in that. You have Roscommon and Down in that as well. You'd imagine that Roscommon would come out of that in Group 1. Group 2, you have Westmeath, who are going very well. You have Monaghan and Louth, so you'd imagine Westmeath and Monaghan to come out of that. Group 3 is our own group, so Wexford and Laois will be playing next week to see who gets second place. And I suppose the final group is Group 4. Leitrim have already secured a home quarter final, so Clare would avoid them, so it'll be Wicklow or Fermanagh and that. But we have to wait until next week, until the final group stages are played, as to who Clare will meet. But look, it'll be a wonderful occasion for the county, a testament to what has been done with minor, under 16 and with the current intermediate panel over the last few years, and it's where we want to be, in the last 8, and hopefully drive on for a semi-final spot.
Yeah, certainly is one to look forward to anyway, that's for sure. Anne-Marie, thanks very much indeed for that. More to come here on the show, do stay tuned. And you're welcome back to the show. Well, we turn our attentions now to soccer, where Avenue United are the 2026 Ennis Carpets Clare Cup champions after a dramatic 3-2 win in extra time against Newmarket Celtic in this year's decider. Avenue led 2-0 early in the second half thanks to goals from Ryan Corcoran and Jack Kelly, but late goals from Shane Cusick and Gary Leahy brought it to extra time. It looked destined for the spot kick finale until Dylan Casey arrowed a bullet to the bottom corner of the net to give Avenue the title. I spoke to Casey after the game, but first let's hear from the winning manager, Adrian Walsh.
It is a 6s and 7s, to be honest about it. Probably disbelief. Credit to the market, 2-0 up, probably coasted in the game. It's probably the best we've played all season in terms of football, but credit to them for coming back into it, 2-0 up. could have been 3 and 4. You know, had a right good goal in half time. You know, that it wasn't good enough, and some of it wasn't good enough. You know, but Newmarket are Newmarket, and that's why they've won the trophies that they've won. They'll never give in to the final whistle. Like, you know, got one back, second one back. You know, and then we're, you know, as quick as you like, we're inside in the dressing room looking to extra time, looking at each other, going, how did we get here? Like, you know.
Because it did feel in that third quarter that she had chances to really kill the game off and didn't take
we
them.
2 or 3 glorious chances, and you're just visualising them going into the net. And like we've worked on that stuff at training, like, and it just goes into the net. I mean, you know, but it's like, I mean, it's, as I said, look, I mean, you were kind of thinking, I was kind of thinking a 2-2, and was like, oh my days, I'm going to rue them chances that the boys missed, like, you know. But as I said, look, credit to Mark for coming back, and Dylan Casey then to turn up with the winner. Like, I mean, we spoke about bravery and being full of courage, like, and stepping in. Like we said all week, it's not going to penalties. Didn't practice penalties. We said we're going to go for it. Whatever happens, we will throw it at it. If it's a draw, we're going for it. We don't want it to go to penalties. We feel it should be done in normal time. If we have to play extra time, fine. But penalties is just, it's a toss of a kind. Like, it's not. Yes, it would be great entertainment for the crowd, like, obviously, but yeah, not good for the nerves at all, like, you know. But credit to Dylan, he stepped up to the plate, you know, full of bravery, and got himself outside the box and finished, you know, great finish, win the game, you know.
We had the benefit of replays. I no doubt you'll watch it back during the week. But he takes a step and a half back out of a crowded penalty spot to give him that time to wind up the left peg.
Well, I mean, he's played over in the UK, like, you know, and I suppose out of all the lads, like, you know, he's probably the easiest lad to coach, because he just understands the game. His game intelligence is absolutely top notch, you know. Absolutely top notch. Future coach, you know, tactically astute. He knows the game, like, so it doesn't surprise me. I can imagine him taking a breath and just visualising the ball coming across him and in, you know. But yeah, just delighted for him, you know, and delighted to get over the line. You know, a lesser double, League Cup and a cup, I will take that.
You probably couldn't even enjoy those last couple of minutes, though, because if normal time had taught us anything, it was until Darius blows it, lads, this ain't over.
I mean, I don't know where they got the time out of, to be honest, but I sat down beside the league, handed out chairs in the second half, like, and I sat down beside Ronan Kearns. I goes, what do you think? And we were just looking out. We stopped playing football. The minute they started playing, bang, goal. So, like, I was sitting down. I was sitting down the seat. You know, I can barely watch. Still barely catch a breath. You know, when you're that much involved in it, like, you know, just the emotion comes out then, like, obviously, like, you know. So, but it's good, and it's good against your bitter rivals as well. It's a nice one. It's a nice one to get. You know, they won the league, as Tiny said. They won the league. We won the cup, and we'll go at it again next year.
It's developing into some battle between you all. 3-2 after extra time is befitting of the two brilliant clubs that you are.
It is, yeah. Look, it's a good rivalry. It's a healthy rivalry. It's an entertaining rivalry, I'd say, for the neutral, like, you know. And there's great respect there, as has been spoke about all week. There is respect there, like, you know what I mean. It can spill over certain times. A bit of a schmozzle going out for extra time, going into the dressing rooms. It's probably all part of it, like, you know. You might need the Gardaí next year if the cup final is Avenue Newmarket. But no, you know, Alan has been top notch. I know Mark, so it's been a really good rivalry, as I said, and we're looking forward to next year. You know, and probably what's egg both clubs on is, like, they've won an FAI. We're looking to do well outside the county, but I mean, like, as been proven, you have to dominate domestically first, and that's difficult because you've clubs like Bridge, Tulla, Shannontown. You've Moher coming up now. You know, you've Ennis Dons. I mean, you're Alan there. I was at that game. They got a last-minute winner. That probably won in the league. Shannontown. They got another. You know, they just big saves from Shane Cusack. So the margins are so fine. Absolutely so fine. But, like, we drive each other on. I think it'd be very boring if it was, you know, if it was a runaway. You know, nobody would come and watch it, really, to be honest.
I have the cup final hero here with me, with Dylan Casey. Dylan, what a way to win that game! But can you sum it up?
Oh, it was unbelievable. The only disappointing thing, being very harsh here now, is 2-0 up and just conceding 2. I thought first half, and then until the last 10 minutes, I thought we defended probably the best we have defended all season. I don't know if they had one shot on target, to be completely honest with you. They were always going to just go long, direct. They have done it to us before, but it just shows the character that we have inside the dressing room and on the line to come back.
And it felt in that extra time that you were pushing forward. I don't think you wanted penalties.
No, we didn't. We didn't even practice penalties. We were confident that it was not going to go to penalties. I thought everyone played outstanding today. Even the line. You see the amount of fans we have here today, you know, encouraging from the line. Like, that got us through all the way to the end. Everyone was cramping. One chance, one goal there at the end. That just shows what Avenue is.
What goes through your head when you take that step back and the ball is coming across to you? What's going through the mind?
Don't fall. Hit the target. As my father said, don't worry about belting it as hard as you can, just place it. Could always take a deflection. The lads are telling me it took a deflection. No, I'm not having that now.
I think it was pretty clean. We had the HD in the van there. It was pretty clean. But like you mentioned, the fans, I thought they'd nearly cut your cup final short. We thought that you'd actually got injured in the celebration at a la Giggsy in that semi-final of the cup.
Well, I think my back is cracked now. I can barely walk. But no, do you know what? It was good to score in front of the Avenue end. That just sums up the whole season, to be honest. Everyone running on. It's the best field ever.
And a cup final, I suppose, befitting of the two teams that were in it.
Yeah. Would have been nice to win the league as well, but we'll attack that again now next year.
But like the drama that it gave, and as an advertisement for the Clare League, among the kids here watching it, like incredible stuff. Like it had the flair, it had the drama, it had the passion, it had everything that you wanted.
It did, and that's what you need. You need this in soccer games. You need it. Like, you need that bit of bite. Obviously, as long as no one gets severely injured, you'd never go out to injure anyone, but like, you need that bite in games, and it just shows. Both teams were going for it. They were going for it. They weren't pulling out of tackles, putting their head where some people wouldn't put their foot. Tiny, everyone. So it's just, even the market as well. They threw at everything. Being down to 10 men as well, it is tough. They dug in fairness, and we have to give them that. So yeah, it's just out now for the night.
But like work rate was the key part of that. I lost count the amount of balls that cleared through the edge of the box, and the man of the match, Conor Finucane, every time the ball broke, it seemed to be him that was bringing it up that left wing.
Yeah, big time. Finucane, typical GA player, will run and never stop running. Even now as well, just shows what he can do. He's outstanding 99.9% of the time. Like he does so much for the back four that people mightn't notice, like screening. We know Gary Lee, he's a threat up top from flick on and stuff like that. Just protects us. He's just class, even tiny. Everyone just works for each other, and that's what you want.
And I know you mentioned they were down to 10 men, but like he suffered a blow of losing Ronan earlier, who was former captain, great leader, a big outlet up top, so you kind of had to reshape and rethink as well. Big
time, but then it just shows the strength we have on the bench. Ryan Corcoran came on. He scored how many minutes later, That's what you need as well. So, listen, it's a team game. People coming off the bench, they were focused. We said at half time, focus. If it goes extra time, but just focus. Just proves,
It's been a long season. I suppose it's tonight's decompression time.
Oh, absolutely. We'll be straight to Patrick's. Gilly better have a little lay for us out tonight. So we'll go and enjoy it anyway, and then we'll take it from there.
Now, there are the views from the Avenue United camp after their dramatic victory over Newmarket in the Ennis Carpets Clare Cup final on Saturday evening in Frankeely Park. Derek Dormer with us to cast an eye back over the game. I guess a game that had it all, really. 5 goals, red card, extra time, a little bit of a scuffle at one stage as well, but to be expected between these two.
Yeah, Derek, I mean, I before you rang me, I was kind of sitting down trying to write a bit about it, and I didn't even know where to begin. You said it there yourself. It had it all. Like every single thing you wanted in a game, this had it. I mean, 2-0 up, 10 men, and then the market with, the only thing I can say is Lazarus-like comeback. I mean, dead and buried. But it's just their DNA to pull on a market Celtic. They don't ever know when they're beaten. They never give up. And I know these are cliches you'll say about a lot of things, but this is true. Like, I mean, we were both there. And I've often said, I was going into a game in Clarecastle a couple of years ago, and Joe Gary was coming out of the car, and I was after coming from some GA game that you'd sent me to, and he just turned to me. I think mine was 312 to 311 or something, and poor old Joe had been in Park Casog at 6 pints all kind of fare, and he was like, you always get the good games. Or Tommy Gilfoyle says, you always get the controversial games. I don't know what it is, but I'm telling you now, Frankeely Park on Saturday evening delivered everything: controversy, excitement, goal, everything. It was just a roller coaster, and like, it was a bona fide classic. I think it'll go down in folklore as maybe the greatest cup final ever, just for the fact that Newmarket Celtic, like, get out of a coffin resurrected themselves like a ghost or a banshee or something, and bang, 2 goals, blink of an eye, and we're off to extra time when we were truthfully packing up our bags, Derek, and getting ready to get into the car. Unbelievable stuff.
Will they be disappointed, Newmarket, with the manner of the 2 goals they conceded? Now, while Avenue were sharp and alert to the chances that were there, it was maybe inadvertently assisted by Newmarket in a lot of ways, particularly the first one.
Yeah, and look, both goals came about through defensive errors. But saying that, Avenue probably wasted 2 to 3 gilt edge opportunities, especially when playing against the 10 men. Like, it wouldn't have been beyond the realms of possibility for Avenue to finish that 4-0. Like, we have to be honest here, a couple of glorious chances squandered, well defended, but it just shows the nature of the competitiveness. Like, you can throw everything at the market, and they might make an error, and they did. Both goals were defensive errors, could have been prevented. Unfortunate, one off the head of Jack Kelly, one off the foot of Conor McDaid, fell to Jack Ryan, fell to young Ryan Corcoran, both finished with aplomb, and you're thinking, job done. But Avenue then had several chances to kill the game completely. Now, I thought it was dead at 2-0, and so did everyone else. There is no point saying otherwise. 2-0, 11v11, you'd be hoping of a comeback. 2-0, 11v10, as I said, pack the bags, get into the car, go home early. But thankfully we didn't, because Newmarket just, like, I think they can take so much, and it's rare you can, but take so much out of this defeat. Like, hold your heads up, shoulders out. Like, you might as well have won the cup. Such was the performance. So, to me, both clubs were winners at the end of the day. Clare Soccer was the winner. Those were in attendance enjoyed it all. It was a brilliant advertisement for the game, and it shows the strides being made in Clare Soccer. Look, we know Newmarket FAI Cup champions a couple of years ago. That's the standard that's in the county. And it's not just Newmarket now. It's Newmarket, Avenue, Tulla, Bridge, and the others are trying to close the gap. So, look, a fantastic day, fantastic evening, brilliant for everybody involved in Clare Soccer.
Just a word on the winner, because we just spoke to Dylan Casey there. Fantastic strike to win it late in the second half of extra time, and really interesting to hear both himself and Adrian Walsh saying that during the week Avenue didn't practice penalties. They weren't countenancing on this game going to the penalty shootout. Massive gamble, I have to say, but obviously they were very strong in the belief that they could go and get the job done, and they looked like a team in that second half of extra time that were pushing for a winner. I think Newmarket would have been happy to bring it to spot kicks given the numerical disadvantage, but I suppose Avenue got that one overlap, Haddon plays it across the square, and there's the outside of the left boot of Dylan Casey to settle it.
Yeah, a moment of magic, and it really, really was sheer utter quality. The best goal of the 5 in a pivotal moment, and I'm delighted that whichever team won it through that. Now, I do think Newmarket would have won the shootout simply because of Shane Cusick. Like, Shane Cusick, I think you described it in the commentary as probably the most influential and busiest goalkeeping performance we've ever seen in any game. I mean, he was everywhere, from taking the frees to making the saves to just orchestrating these troops, leading, like, especially when they were down to the 10 men. I thought he was phenomenal. And if it had gone to a shootout, you would have had to back Cusick, because he would have scored one and probably saved 2. That's the calibre of the man. I did speak with Adrian Walsh, and you have it up on the website there for Clare FM listeners, and that, like, he didn't practice penalties. I don't think it was a case of, they're wanting to win it in normal time. I think Walla kind of referenced that you can't really practice them because of the situation. It's easy to kick a ball into a net from 11 yards above in training against the goalkeeper. Is it easy to kick the ball in the net from 11 yards against a goalkeeper like Shane Cusick in a packed Franchitti Park with silver on the line? I don't think you can ever replicate that pressure. So why they didn't practice them, he'd have also had known in himself that Dylan Casey would definitely slot home a penalty. Nad probably slot home one. Your Jack Ryans of the world. So they'd have confidence in their takers too. I do feel Cusick would have been the difference had it come to the shootout. But for everyone involved, I'm glad that it was a moment of magic that won the cup, and not an own goal, not a defensive slip, or not a late rash tackle to give a penalty in added time. Something like that. It was better that Casey pulled back that left peg and unleashed a rocket. And it was unstoppable, Derek. Unstoppable. If Shane Cusick, if there was another goalkeeper in there, he wouldn't have, been able to. He took it high, it dipped low, and it just nestled into the bottom corner in the blink of an eye. as soon as Casey hit it, it's like a golfer, as you've often said in commentary. He turned away. He was already celebrating. He knew that ball was gone, bang, bing, into the bottom corner. And just what a way to win the game. What a finish to an extraordinary game. Yeah, we had unsavoury scenes, but look, there's smuzzles in all sorts of sport, and there's comings together. No one was killed. They all shook hands afterwards. It just added to the drama, really.
Yeah, it certainly was a brilliant occasion, and one that lived long in the memory for Avenue United anyway, that's for sure. Derek, thanks very much indeed for that. We are back shortly here on Sideline View. Now, delighted to have Clare Camogie boss Eugene Foodie with us on the line after they made it 3 from 3 in this year's All-Ireland Senior Championship, and very much now on course for back-to-back quarter-final appearances with 2 rounds left to play. Eugene, you must be just thrilled with how things are going.
Yeah, look, it has been a great year so far. Since we started back last November, there's been huge positivity. The girls have bought into everything we've done, and the results are proven that.
Yeah, good battle with Limerick. It took a while to break it down, but that's exactly the type of tense, tough game you want.
Yeah, look at it. All 3 games. We opened the championship with Dublin, and then last week we had Wexford, and then on Saturday Limerick. We knew Limerick were fighting, to survive in the championship. Another defeat for them, and they were out of it. So anything, you're playing a local derby, a local team, there's always going to be excitement, and it turned out that way on Saturday.
And it's been a pretty gruelling schedule. I'd say you're really looking forward to a week of downtime from games anyway. I know you'll be training, obviously, but it's been very, very hectic.
Yeah, it has been full on 3 weeks in a row. So we are giving the girls a few nights off this week, let them recharge the batteries, and we'll go at it again the weekend, because we have Kilkenny, coming up in 2 weeks' time, and then we've Offaly the following week. So it's there's another 3 hard weeks in a row coming up. So we have to plan ahead for that.
On the injury front, I know you got kind of devastating news really during the week after Lorna's injury down in Wexford. Massive loss for the team, but for herself as well, because she was having some year.
She was having a great year, yeah. And after the huge effort to get back, been out for 3 years, and to get herself back in the frame she was in and flying it, and then this, sport can be cruel. But no, she was there. She was pucking every ball, was there on the sideline on Saturday, and it was great to have her there. And the girls, we kind of went out and made sure that we did the job for her on Saturday.
And that was really evident as well when she went off below in Wexford Park, that there was a real lift, particularly in the inside line, and obviously Roisin carried through that form again with another goal again on Saturday. So there is that sense that there's a real unity of purpose to what they're doing.
Oh yeah. Look at it. I mean, it's winning is a kind of a habit, but the girls, there's a real competition for places. So if you have the 1 to 15 jersey, there's another 10 girls trying to take that jersey off you. But so there's a good competition for places, and even when we be on subs, they're all making an impact. And like Quiva Carmody and say Anya Loughlin on Saturday. So we kept trying to keep it fresh, and competition for places is good.
Has that been one of the real bonuses of this year, Eugene? The depth that you've now built 1 to 24, like.
Yeah, well, that hasn't happened just in a week. That's happened over the last number of years, and having say Lorna back this year. I mean, the finding Roisin McMahon and a couple more has been a real jewel, and that was our motto at the start of the year, to keep building on what was done the last couple of years, and maybe driving on another level with fitness and strength and depth.
Yeah, and I suppose that experience last year getting to the quarter-final, I think it really opened a lot of people's eyes as to just, I suppose, the ceiling that Clare Camogie could go and reach, and to follow it through this year now has been fantastic.
Yeah, look, sure, this year has been amazing, really. We've 5 games played at home, and we've won all 5. We're unbeaten in league and championship this year, and 3 championship games in a row won. I think it's the first time ever for a Clare Camogie team to have 3 championship games played and won. So look, it's all both positive, and it's good. It's down to the hard work the girls have put in as well, and there's a real air of confidence in what they're doing at the moment, and there's no panic. Even the first 10 minutes on Saturday, we went 3 points down, but still we rallied and we stuck to the game plan, and we came out comfortable winners in the end.
Yeah, and that was really positive to see the way they closed out that last quarter on the back of, I suppose, as you mentioned, 3 weeks in a row legs have got to be tired, minds have got to be tired. So it's spirit and heart bring you through in those scenarios, and they came through that in spades. Like,
Yeah, look, we spoke at half time. We needed to power on. I mean, we had a huge effort put in the first half against the Breeze, and to go and lead at half time, that takes it. But also the positive that we didn't concede a goal. That was in the back of our head too. That we wanted to keep a clean sheet and have that unity and bond. That, you know, we held out for not conceding a goal as well.
there's something in the water about Clare goalkeepers this year. We saw what Mark Sheedy did for the 20s, but Darren Murphy's having some year.
Yeah, Darren is a super goalie. Do you know what I mean? We know that down to the years. And Joe, when you've got Joe Sinead O'Keefe and Eve Moll outside her, there's always a good unity, and but she's playing with confidence in as well because what's happening out the field.
You're going back to a happy hunting ground in Nolan Park. Your last visit there was obviously a very, very good one. Different opponent, of course, but is this a real opportunity now to have a right go at where are we actually at? Here's Kilkenny, below Nolan Park. Victory puts you top of the group. Like, this is just a brilliant opportunity.
Yeah, look, we treat every game, Joe, on its merits, and Joe, we will be taking Kilkenny really serious. We want to go down there, Joe, have a right cut off them and see what and you're right, see where we are. Right, we already had a right cut off Waterford in the Munster Championship, and we saw what they did just by beating Tipperary. So there isn't there's not much between any of the top teams in this championship. So on a given day, Joe, anything could happen, and Joe, we will go down to Kilkenny. We'll show the respect as deserved there, and we'll have a right good go at them.
Yeah, we'll be looking forward to that game in a couple of weeks' time. Eugene, thanks very much indeed for that. That was Clare Camogie manager Eugene Foodie there. Right, well, there will be no Irish involvement on the field in this year's World Cup in America, Canada and Mexico. There will be, however, or has been already, Clare involvement on a pitch. That might sound very strange, it might sound very contradictory, but not when we talk to our next guest. Former Clare minor football star, Cura Clare's Kieran O'Donoghue. Not quite sure if people saw a video going around recently of one of the pitches, which he'll tell us more about, but he's part of a company that are involved in the making of it in Vancouver. Kieran, thanks for taking the time to have a chat with us.
No bother at all, Derek. Any time for you now.
Will you put people out of their misery as to what I'm exactly waffling on about?
We're out here in Vancouver at the moment, just out here 2 years, just gone last April, and the company I'm involved with, Wilco Civil, we got the job to upgrade the pitch in BC Place as part of the World Cup that's coming here this year. So a part of the scope of that project was basically build up from what was existing. They had an astrofield existing, put down armour decking. We built up about 400 mil on top of that and put down an artificial synthetic hybrid sod that is the spec for the FIFA World Cup. And then around the perimeter of the field, we installed plastic permavoid cells, similar to what they might use for concerts and stuff. But inside in that, we just ran our services, electrical and irrigation lines. And then on top of that, we laid new artificial AstroTurf. So with that, the timeline for the project, we had 18 days, combination of day shift and night shift. With that, we started on a Sunday morning with orientations. Started on the Sunday morning, they had a concert the night before and did our orientations, headed out onto the field to have a look. Got started a bit later, but as soon as the field was handed over to us, we ploughed on and basically worked east to west around the perimeter of the field. And then once we got going, we basically had to run drainage lines along the whole length of the field. Then we had to bring in about 5,000 metric ton of sand, very specific high spec sand for the World Cup itself. Brought that in, placed that in all over the field, and worked our way from west to east heading back towards our main access route. And once we got everything dialed in, we got our subcontracted sod installers to come in, start laying grass. And yeah, all in all, 18 days is what we had. We were ahead of schedule by 3 days, which was a great bonus for the company ourselves. But all in all, no major issues occurred. Got the job done on time. Nobody fell out with each other, surprisingly. And yeah, handed it over to FIFA on time, and they seem very happy with it now. It's under their control, and yeah, great project to be a part of. I myself was the superintendent for the night shift crew. So with that, because we only had 18 days to do it, we broke the shifts into day crew, night crew, 12-hour shifts, bit of an overlap in between, and yeah, tough on the body, still recovering. I think we finished on the, what date was it? 13th of May. What do we know? 2 weeks later, still getting there, but thoroughly enjoyable project to be a part of. Something that will go down on the CV and something we'll remember for a long time as well. I'm just hopeful now that the World Cup will go ahead in BC Place with no issues. And yeah, hopefully the city enjoys itself now for the next 7-8 weeks.
Yeah, were you given any idea as to the volume of games that might be played there, or do you know what's scheduled for that particular stadium?
Yeah, so they have 7 games contracted to be played there. First game is on the 13th of June, if I'm not mistaken. Um, Canada will be playing one, if not more, of their games there. And that's great for the city. At least the country itself is coming in. The national team is coming in to play a game there. And great for the city in general. They seem, sometimes people forget to think about the city itself because it's on the very west coast, but great for the city. We'll have it'll be a very enjoyable and busy few weeks around the city here now that we're looking forward to.
Yeah, it must be a real buzz building because I think it was 94 since the World Cup last came stateside, and I'm not quite sure was Canada involved then. I don't think so.
I
Certainly
don't
not.
think so.
Yeah, certainly not to this extent. Anyway, so there must be a huge, huge excitement building for it.
Major tourist attraction here called Science World. Basically, they have this massive globe on top of the building itself. Not even sure. I would say it could be 30 meters wide and 30 meters high. But basically, what they did was they made it into a soccer ball, the official soccer ball that will be used for the World Cup itself. Small things like that go a long way for a city that's still trying to build a name for itself, and something that will definitely be remembered here for a long time.
You said you're over there the couple of years now. Things going well?
Yeah, going very well now. We're here 2 years as of last month. Going good. Thriving city. It's we're a 2-minute walk from the beach ourselves, and you have that to do during the summer, and during the winter. Then you're a 30-minute drive to go up a mountain to go skiing or snowboarding. So it's something a lot different to what I was used to in Danganelli. But no, I would recommend as a place to visit or live for a certain length of time for young people. Thoroughly enjoyable here now, yeah.
Yeah, but there's one thing it doesn't have, done. That's the Danganelli Tavern.
I'd say, do you know what? We might be better off, but at times you'd miss it at the same time. Depending on what the work schedule would be like there. But I look at you'll always miss home. But I think for any young people that have the intent to go traveling, definitely go for it. I was somebody that had never planned to really myself. But up until I met a certain someone who was mad for it, I said I'll chance it, and very glad that I did. And the place that we came to, a lot of Irish here as well. So not thoroughly enjoyable, can't complain at all.
Yeah, look, at full disclosure on this, I think we've avoided the elephant in the room long enough. The person you speak about is known to us both. It's obviously my own sister, Deirdre. You've been out there, as you said, the couple of years. So just people probably at home listening saying, them two know each other well. That's exactly why. But just on that team then, I'm sure she made sure enough of people saw it anyway. And O'Neill's photo shoot recently for the GA club you're involved in over in Vancouver. We spoke to one of its founding members, Eamon Bracken. I think it was maybe last year here on Clare FM when he was kind of trying to recruit lads around this time of the year, actually. So from a Gaelic Games perspective, you haven't left that at home in Clare.
No, I think any Irish people that have been involved in their own GA clubs at home, it's something that they look for when they move to different places. And in fairness, the GAA scene here in Vancouver is massive and heavily involved with Irish people, and a lot of volunteering that's done as well. We have currently now, tomorrow, we have our second round of the football championship going on for the senior team, and then the hurling championship is kicking off next week for that. So it's a great incentive for Irish people to come over, even if you're not. If you're a junior player, you will get in. You'll find a team like myself. You'll be well aware of my hurling capabilities now. Playing with the Wolf Tones, we're kicking off there Wednesday evening, and there's a team for every grade of player, for both codes, and the camogie as well, which the Wolf Tones team just started a team last year, which ended up winning the junior championship. So just goes to show the people that are involved, if you gain enough interest and if you want to be a part of something good, the potential is there.
Yeah, and full disclosure on that as well, Deirdre was involved in that camogie victory, and I think we can both say from first-hand experience, when she looked at one handle of the hurley or the other when she was at home, it's just amazing when you go away how more important that Gaelic Games culture can become for you. Are you seeing a bit of a slowdown in young Irish people arriving in Vancouver, or is it as steady as ever, or how's that whole dynamic working?
I would say the first year we came, the summer of 24, a lot of Irish people came in. Slowed down a bit last year. We haven't really got into the season of it yet in terms of people coming over, and J winners as well. That would be a massive thing here. I think they're only starting to arrive now at the moment, really, and the majority of them are going straight into teams, hurling and football, which is a massive boost as well for all the clubs. But I would say it hasn't died down slightly, but it's on the rise again. It's people have realised Vancouver, it is a great place to come and live, along with Australia as well. Just as good a lifestyle here as there.
Final word then, have you many games in the World Cup planned to attend, or are those plans just kind of in the infancy stage at the moment?
I would say infancy stage now. All the guys still recovering from the project, just trying to get back into the swing of things. I'd say a few of the Irish guys that work with Wilco, we might go for our own small bit of a gathering at one of the viewing stations. They have a big one set up out at the PNE here. A lot of work went into that, so I think a few of us will head out to that, soak it all in, appreciate what we achieved, and yeah, just try and enjoy the few weeks. I think it's something that every person would love to visit or be a part of, is a World Cup in a city that you're living in. So no, looking forward to it, yeah.
Do you mean to tell me, after all the work you did for FIFA, that they're not going to throw you a few free tickets, no?
They were thrown around. I have one myself. I was debating whether I was going to say it to you or not. I have one myself, but I don't know whether I'll sell it off and make a few points. I won't do that. No. I have a ticket for one of the games myself. I'm looking forward to it there now as well. It is one of the Canada games, so it's it'll be a great thing to go in and see what you have achieved and be able to see two major teams compete on a pitch that you were involved in. So should be good.
And indeed, thanks to Kieran for taking the time to have a chat with us here on Sideline View Review. The World Cup, of course, getting underway this week when Mexico plays South Africa on Thursday evening at 8. The Kennedy Cup is also underway in UL. Clare playing their first game this evening. They'll have 2 more tomorrow, and we'll bring you details of those as soon as we get them. That's all we have time for though here on this week's Sideline View Review. The West Wind is up next. Enjoy the rest of your Monday evening.